All right, welcome to Out of the Blue Off Script, part of the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network. This is a podcast so nice, we had to do it twice. I am Jared Stormer of Maize and Broom, the Block M Podcast Network. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate. Andy Bailey pulled too soon from the primordial soup, creating a near-human hybrid able to digest 27 hours worth of football content in a 24-hour window. How the hell are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm really excited for our official, unofficial, we're just winging it and doing our thing. Second pod of the week. It's going to be more of a staple this year.
It absolutely will be this week. Going to kind of bounce around a little bit. It's April in the D. So there's just a lot of good sports going on right now. We felt the need to hop on, talk through some of it. As college football gets a little bit closer, we'll be doing 2 pods a week, probably focusing more just on Michigan football. I mean, there's a lot to dive into once we're in season. But yeah, expect more and more content from the Out of the Blue boys. Speaking of which, please go follow us on all of our new endeavors. Just kicked off on TikTok. That's going to be Out of the Blue Sports, all one word. Twitter is going to be at OOTB_sports. Instagram, where we'll be doing a lot of our new stuff and giveaways, will be Out of the Blue Sports, all one word. First giveaway lined up, we are giving away a Michigan versus Everybody t-shirt. We've got several sizes ready to go. All we will need to do for you to enter is to share one of our videos, one of our posts on any one of our platforms. Send it to us. Let us know. We will get you entered. This will be a 2-week giveaway, so we will mention this on next week's pod. There's going to be a lot of these coming as we try to grow our socials, grow the podcast.
Yeah, and if we don't see it, tag us, DM us, find us. We're out there. We're out and about. I'm even back on Twitter for this. You can get at me at UMAndrewB. You can email our mailbag email. What is that? OOTBsports23 at Gmail. Yep, at gmail.com. So you can get at us there. We really want to engage more, get these giveaways out there, and spread the pod this year. Spread the gospel, if you will.
The gospel, the good word of Out to the Blue. Also want to shout out the Sklar brothers. Thank you so much to Jason and Randy for coming on, chopping it up with us. They will be in Ann Arbor right around the Wisconsin game. We will be giving away tickets to that. We'll let you know more about that as that gets a little bit closer, but really excited to do some cross-promotional stuff with those guys. They are the absolute best. All right, my friend, I think it's time to start chopping it up. I love these ones because we can just kind of have a conversation. There's not like any rules, no agenda. I don't have to switch screens going back and forth, figuring out if TJ Guy's still on the board. We can just chop it up.
There's so much to talk about, too. Like, it was the perfect time because, like you said, later on, it's going to be a lot more Michigan because we're going to have so much to cover. But right now, it's great sports time. I know we say that pretty much every month because we're just sports junkies, but NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs in full swing. There's other events like WrestleMania happening. The Masters just finished up. And of course, we got to catch people up on what movies we're watching.
Not only that, and I think we need to start here, maybe the fiercest competition happening right now. This one affects 80 million people on the planet Earth, folks. We've got a conclave going on. We've got a top 2 leaders right now. FanDuel's got it 1 and 2 at Pietro Parolin, the Italian contingent here, 70 years young, softly spoken, really interesting guy. Real team player. I'm very interested to see how this guy works with the rest of the contingent. But I've got my eye on the runner-up currently, according to FanDuel, and that's Luis Antonio Gokim Tagal. This guy out of the Philippines, 67 years young, just a boy, just a kid out there. And I mean, the Filipinos, man, 80% of them are Catholic. This guy's going to have a contingent. So we are locked in for this conclave.
It's coming up after watching it last year. I mean, the timing couldn't be any better. I mean, RIP Pope Francis. I mean, it comes at your expense, but we are very excited for the next conclave.
Yeah, absolutely. Viewership of Conclave went up by like 200% too. I think it's on Apple right now.
Yeah,
or Peacock.
that movie rules. That's why.
That's why. Yeah. And people are like, what's going on in there behind closed doors? Well, we're going to keep you posted throughout this conclave from now until white smoke. We've got you covered. Let's pivot a little bit. Let's go to college football here. Start where our bread is buttered as the second portal window closes. Who you got in your top 5? I think we've got a pretty good idea of these teams now. This is going to be a lot closer to what you should expect in the fall.
There can still be some movement. I'll never forget in 2022, Yabi Yoki joining the team like 3 days before the first game. We're just like, okay, well, welcome. So there can still be some of that going on. But right now, like just rough estimate, diving back in. One, it felt so good to dive back in. The water was warm. It was really nice. My top five: Georgia 1, Clemson 2, Texas 3, Bama 4. I'm buying a lot of the Bama stock low right now, and Notre Dame 5.
Yeah, I like this. I'm pretty similar with a lot of that. I could definitely see an Alabama bounce back here. There's no question about it. Like Kalen DeBoer, we trust what they've got there. It wasn't really his team in Alabama, so I think as he kind of gets his system installed and get guys that play a little bit more his style of play, Alabama will be more of a real contender this year.
Gets his old OC back too.
His old OC
Grubb is coming back from Seattle.
Good old Grubb. Love the Grub Hub. At number 1, I've got Texas. They added an insane amount of depth to their defensive tackle room over this last portal. They added like 5 guys, all of whom were like pretty highly regarded there. This defense is going to be mean, physical, and I'm a believer in Arch Manning. They bring back quite a bit there. Georgia, I've got at 2. Clemson at 3, so pretty similar there with our tops. 4, I got Penn State. Bringing back a lot. And, it remains to be seen if Penn State can beat the big dogs on their schedule. If it's going to happen, it's going to be this year. This is one of their most complete teams. At number 5, I also have Notre Dame, who I think is going to be really good this year. Interesting. No Oregon, no Ohio State for either of us.
Yeah, not buying into those right now. A lot needs to be seen, especially with Oregon bringing in a new starting quarterback in Dante Moore, and their first quarterback that hasn't played like 45 or 50 career games. So a lot to be sorted out there, not to mention some of the losses, Connerly, Jordan James, the receivers, and on defense. They'll still be good, don't get me wrong. Penn State there is interesting. I couldn't get there with Penn State because until they proved to me that they're an actual heavyweight and not just a middleweight who acts like a heavyweight until a heavyweight shows up, then I'll buy in. Like I couldn't put them there because I think Michigan would beat them next year. That's where I landed.
I got you. They were still better than Alabama last year, and they bring back most of that. So that was kind of my reasoning there. But you're completely right. And in what you're saying there, like, prove it to me, could you? Yeah. And I'm just not a believer in James Franklin. That being said, I think they could still make the playoffs just because they'll beat everybody else.
Yeah, but do you think they're a top 5 team in the country, though? Not a playoff team, a top, like, pound for pound against everybody.
At this point in the season, until I dig a little deeper, I'll give it to them. But as we roll into August, I would imagine I would probably drop them to the 7-8 range once I figure out who I want to move up. But I don't know who that is right now.
I like your Texas at 1. Anthony Hill might be the best edge rusher in the country. Although I'm always a little dubious. Maybe it's Harold Landry, like fatigue from a couple years ago, the LSU edge rusher that popped off as a freshman, but has just never gotten back to that level. And I'm wondering if that's going to happen to Hill in year 2. So we'll see there. But yeah, man, like Texas, Oregon, I mean, both added a ton in the portal. Ohio State, the team we both excluded, unsurprisingly, I believe is still the odds-on favorite to win the national title. And I don't understand it. I don't.
That is just like we haven't done the work yet. That's what that is. Like they're procrastinating. Like do the work. That is not the team.
The entire defensive line's gone. The line, Cody Simon's gone. One starting
quarterback.
The quarterback's gone. They lose 2
receiver,
2 linemen. No, leading receiver's still there. They still have Jeremiah Smith.
Oh, Jeremiah Smith was more than Mbuka last year?
I think so. But I mean, he's better. Like
he's definitely better, for sure. But
they lose Mbuka, they lose both running backs, and they lose both coaches. And they brought in Matt Patricia. Where's the Patricia tax?
The Patricia tax is damning. The
Patricia tax. You should call him the tariff.
The tariff. You're gonna have to pay it, and you're gonna hate it.
You're gonna hate it, but you guys are paying the tariff this year.
Yeah, the tariff. I absolutely love that. He doesn't deserve a nickname, Matt Patricia. Goodness gracious. I remember that guy for the Lions walking around and was like, no, it's okay. He's a rocket scientist. I'm like, sweet. Can he coach football? Like, I'm not trying to get into the Earth's like inner orbit. I would like to run a 4.3 that's competent.
That made me so much more nervous. It's like, I want somebody that's going to bite kneecaps. Like, that's what I want. Yeah. I want a meathead running the team. I don't want this guy, thinking about nuclear physics in his spare time. Like, can you beat cover 2? Do you know how to do that? He's like, well, if we think of our running attack like a fuselage, don't stop it immediately. Pound the damn rock. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens there. And also, like, to your Penn State argument, Jim Knowles is a hell of a defensive coordinator. So him going to Penn State could be a boost they need.
one of the more impactful coordinator moves of the season, just across college football, bar
Yeah.
none, period. And a part of the reason I got Penn State there, even though I considered LSU was kind of my next
Ooh.
one out, but like I've been burnt by them before
Yeah.
recently. So they're, to me, the ones that like, you got to show me you can bounce back, and like everybody on the team doesn't hate Brian Kelly with a burning passion.
It's really, yeah. I mean, it's really weird how like Brian Kelly like gets everybody to hate him, but he ultimately has success everywhere he goes. It's truly fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about the man, but he finds ways to win. And he's got Garrett Nussmeier projected top 5 pick next year.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see about that. Quarterbacks can really fluctuate, but I liked a lot of what I saw from Nussmeier. So they'll be an interesting team. They hit the transfer portal hard. If you've got them in your top 5, I'm not going to push back on that. All right, here's one for you. This I just saw right before we logged on. 2027 defensive back Charles Woodson has entered the top 247 from 247 Sports. You might be wondering why that's important, because obviously Charles Woodson, the son of the legend Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. We could easily say he already has a locker in Ann Arbor. It's probably already space carved out for him. Even if he's a no star, he's got a spot in Ann Arbor because of his dad. Like, you can call it nepotism or you can call it legacy, because that's what you do in college football.
Yeah, we won't use nepotism. We're going to go ahead and shoehorn in legacy there. I don't care if he
yeah.
get on in here. I don't even care. He could sell Dippin' Dots out in the parking lot. We want him around the program. But by the sound of it, if you're in the top 247, you're probably at least a 3-star.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the kid can play. A couple of years out there, but I can't wait to start watching some Woodson tape again. It'll take me back. I mean, that is the official sign that you're getting old, because the first team I ever watched was the OG Woodson. Like that was what got me started. So that'll creep up on you, but hey, that's life.
Yeah, it's true. It's gonna be awesome just having Charles around the program again. Like, I know he is
Yeah,
there
man.
with everything with Big Noon Kickoff and things like that, but having his son like tour, like, oh man, it's just great. I love when guys like that get a comeback. I even liked it for like smaller guys, like when John Colzar had Caden come through. Like, I love that, and I always love seeing the pedigree come through like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dez's kids, or at least one of Dez's kids, is at the university right now. We had about 113 Bredesons come through. So
Could use some more.
Yeah, we'll take it. What do you got? 4 or 5 more Bredesons over there? Come on, send them over.
We will take them the same way we're bringing the Weistert brothers in the 30s and 40s. We brought the Bredesons in. We'll bring whoever in. I love a family team. The Glasgows.
Family affair up in Ann Arbor. Absolutely love it. So yeah, Charles Woodson's son. Come on down. We will accept it. Can you imagine if we got Woodson's kid and Dez's kid on the team at the same time and they're actually contributing?
God,
Man.
it would be great. It would just be great. Bring a tear to the eye.
Sure was. Warms the cockles of the heart, as Jim Harbaugh says. Go to a little NFL draft thoughts. We did our mock NFL draft last week. Got some really good feedback on
2 days ago.
Yeah, you're right. It was 2 days ago. My God, we're just right back at it, aren't we? No sleep and rest for the wicked. But the draft is tomorrow, the 24th, first round at least. So really excited for that. Any final NFL draft thoughts for you?
Man, I think a few things. I think we're going to see some chaos. I believe this draft has already set a record for the longest amount of time without any first round trades or movement so far. Like, everything has just been riding chalk. I think we could see up to 4 trades in the first round. And I tweeted this out earlier about the Michigan guys. I know this isn't going to be just Michigan centric today, but Mason Graham could be 10 to 15 now, could be sliding. Nothing he's doing, but it just could be where teams are moving up to get certain players and chasing other things. Will Johnson's probably could be around 20. That's where you're looking to Will to go. I believe Peter Schrager had him going today to the Lions, actually at 28, which is fascinating to think about. Colston Loveland could go in the top 10. I said he could be the first Wolverine drafted. It wouldn't surprise me. And Kenneth Grant, I think he's been pretty much steady all the way through between 20 to 30. But there could be a little movement there as teams differentiate between he, Derek Harmon, and Walter Nolan. It's kind of like splitting hairs there. Which one do you like more?
Yeah, this could be a very fascinating one. The Will Johnson news, certainly very interesting. But like we said, when we were doing our mock, all it takes is one. And that's a prospect that it wouldn't be very hard to talk yourself into. The 2023 tape is incredible. If you just had the 2023 tape and didn't know 2024 existed, or just like took the 2 picks he had in 2024 and shoehorn that in, tack that on to 2023, you'd be like, this is the best cornerback in a couple of years here. So I think he'll go a little higher than 28th, but man, if he falls to the Lions, what a dream scenario. That's exactly the kind of player they could use.
That would be awesome. This draft is a lot of fun because it's not a superstar draft like most of them, but it's a starter draft. It's what Daniel Jeremiah has been calling it. I really like that. Like just a bunch of guys you can see starting, and that's going to make like the first round kind of feel like the second round normally does, which tends to be my favorite. And I think you're going to see that like kind of extend down to the fourth, like just a lot of guys, it's like, oh, this guy, Landon Jackson, here he is, Josiah Stewart, and like all these players bouncing around. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's definitely not a draft where it's like, oh my God, Justin Jefferson went in the teens. Like there are no like big swings like that in the teens. But like you said, there's going to be some really good starters like Jahdae Barron and Jihad Campbell, who you and I really like that we took in the teens. Yeah. Like players like that, I think are really going to come in and help some of these teams. And then second and third round, where you generally build your team. Good teams are built in the second, third, and fourth rounds. There's a lot of value there in this one. What are you thinking for Lions? I think we took Donovan Izaruke in our mock, still kind of leaning edge, best edge available, or
leaning edge or defensive tackle, depending on how it shakes out there. I think most of the top defensive tackles will be out. You might be able to get like a Shamar Turner later on, or a player of that status, or a TJ Sanders.
Shamar Stewart?
No, different one.
Oh, okay. There's a Shamar Turner.
Yeah, he plays defensive tackle. Yeah.
Who is this man?
2 Shamars. But yeah, he could be available later on, so you could address it there. And with the edges, I really think one's going to fall like right to that spot. Like there will be a run in this draft, but Ezraku's been mocked there, and a few others have been floating around. And it's like, man, it's a good year to need defensive linemen. Actually, excuse me, a great year to need defensive linemen.
And Brad Holmes does know what he's doing with draft picks. So if he decides to move back, add a little capital, wouldn't be the worst decision there. If you were to move up, and now we're starting to hear just more and more about this, that would likely be due to a Jameson Williams trade, which is just starting to really percolate through a lot of the draft discussions right now. The salary implications of this, the Lions currently are like kind of right in the middle with cap space, but they've got a lot of guys coming up that they need to pay, including Aiden Hutchinson. So you kind of look at the writing on the wall. The T. Higgins contract, who was the second receiver for Cincinnati, got a 4-year, $115 million contract. So maybe you could get Jameson for slightly less than that. But even if you got him, say, like a little bit less than that, 4 years, 100, that would still make him the second highest player on the team, paid player on the team. Like he's going to be asking for something that I don't know Detroit is willing to give. And good teams right now, look at the Chiefs, aren't paying high dollars to running backs and receivers because, like, you know what, we'll get one in the draft. We'll get 3-4 years out of them. They paid Amon-Ra, but Amon-Ra backed that up last year with again, I think he had 1,200 yards receiving. I've got it pulled up right here. I think it's 1,200 yards. Yeah, he went for 1,263 and 12 touchdowns. Like,
and he's still your number one for his career,
100%. Yeah, absolutely. So what are your thoughts on a Jameson Williams trade? What would that return? Are you pro, you anti?
I'm pro it for the cap implications because you have to pay Aiden Hutchinson. There's just no way around it. And then you can't have that much money tied up into 2 receivers, an edge, and a tackle. Like that's really going to do it. And what's the outlier there? It's the second receiver. So it's like you could cut that, move up a little bit higher in the first round. It looks like Jacksonville's going to take Ashton Genty now at 5. So that rumor's kind of off the board a little bit, but there are teams up there that need a receiver. So maybe you could deal with the Colts or a team like that, trade, get up that high, and then take either take a receiver like a Matthew Golden, or you take one of the premier defensive tackles, edges, and then get a receiver later on. Because there's some good receivers later, like Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. I really like a lot, like a little injury prone, but like similar to Will Johnson, like if he had been healthy all this season, I think he'd be projected in the first round. So there's some options there to move around. And at the end of the day, though, we learned the hard way. And Brad Holmes, we trust. Like we were dead wrong, and we completely changed our philosophy about drafts, not to be cookie cutter about positional value. So whatever he decides to do, I'm sure there's a great reason behind it.
Yeah, you nailed that last point there. I've completely changed my philosophy about drafting. Get a starter. Just get a
Yep.
guy you know is going to come in and contribute is so much better. Forget about the positional value there. Would Jamison Williams be the first wide receiver taken if he were coming into this draft? I think we got him at like in the teens, if I'm not mistaken.
We traded up for him,
Traded
and
up.
he was coming off the injury, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That was the big
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, he'd be the first receiver taken. This is not
Yeah.
a not
Even
not a
maybe coming off injury too.
yeah, even coming off injury, he'd be the first receiver taken. Not a very top heavy receiver class. I actually like the middle class of this draft a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Jameson Williams would be the number one. And coming off his 1,000-yard season, I think you can get a good price for him.
Yeah, the trade that you texted me was, would you trade pick number 5 for Jamison? I said no because I get very precious about my draft picks, the guys that we draft in, especially in basketball, which we're going to talk a little bit. Like, I want them all to stick around for a decade. I want it all to work. That doesn't work out if you're drafting well, because
Yeah.
you can only pay like a handful of guys like superstars. So honestly, the really great drafting of the Detroit Lions is about to catch up to them, and they're going to have to start letting some of these guys go. And the more I thought about that trade, I think you would take that, because if it's him or Hutchinson, don't even bring that question to my doorstep. It's Hutchinson 7 days out of the week and twice on Sunday. So yeah, I hate to lose Jamison because I like him. 1,000 yards receiving last year, like getting better, which I also like, but also missed some time due to some off the field stuff, missed some time due to injury. Obviously not his fault, but just not on the field as much as you'd like for what he's going to command.
Yeah. And again, it's a second receiver at the end of the day. If he was a number one, it's a different conversation. And not to mention already hitting on Sam Laporta as another receiving option there. It's like, okay, we can take a little bit there. Maybe you could go after like a Jack Besh in the middle rounds or somebody like that. Or hell, you can get Tez Walker in the 5th round or 7th round now. Or Tez
like
Johnson.
Isn't he like 5'6", 140 pounds?
Yeah, no one could separate like him at the Senior Bowl. Give me a 5th rounder on Tez.
My coffee table weighs more.
I know, but he is creeps athletic, man. He can fly. So you have options, and it's like you can find your way around it. But earlier, I still think the Lions will ultimately trade back in this. But the Jamison Williams trade could be massive.
Yeah, I mean, if the Patriots want him and we can get up to 4,
woo!
Yeah, I would say you do that. I would be very surprised if they're willing to do that, because not only then do you have trade up and lose your pick number 4, then you got to pay him. You don't pay him like a rookie scale. You pay him like T. Higgins.
Yeah. So I'd be very interesting to see what they do. Other teams to watch trade around. Colts have been rumored to be moving up. Bears, Panthers are looking to move back. A lot of teams are looking to move back in the top 10. So there could be a reshuffling of it a little bit. And then you got to watch for the Giants to come back in the first round, go after a quarterback. Same thing with Cleveland. A lot of stuff up in the air for once. Like, it doesn't feel as chalky. Like last year, we knew the top 10 was going to be littered with quarterbacks. We knew how it was going to go for the most part. This year, I've seen a ton of variations in mock drafts, way more than usual.
Yeah, ours, we got a little weird with it as well. So
yeah,
I agree with you. It'll be fun to watch. I won't be watching, however, because